Welcome to iTutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with the UNIT12 MMPC005, that is chi-square test. So let's see the objectives of this chapter. By this time you have successfully completed this unit, you should be able to appreciate the role of the chi-square distribution in testing of hypothesis, design and conduct the test concerning the variance of a normal population, perform test regarding equality of variance from two normal population, have an intuitive understanding of the concept of the chi-square statistics, use the chi-square statistics in developing and conducting test of goodness of fit, and test concerning independence of categorized data. And the structure of this unit are: there is an introduction, testing of population variance, testing of equality of two population variance, testing the goodness of fit, testing independence of categorized data, and summary self-assessment exercise is there. And let's begin with the introduction part. In the previous unit, you have studied the meaning of testing of hypothesis and also how some of these tests concerning the means and the proportion of one or two population could be designed and conducted. But in real life, one is not always concerned with the mean and the proportion alone, nor is one always interested in only one or two population. A marketing manager may want to test if there is any significant difference in the proportion of high income household where his brand of soap is preferred in north, south, east and west and central India. In such a situation, the marketing manager is interested in testing the quality of proportions among five different populations. Similarly, a quality control manager may be interested in testing the variability of a manufacturing process after some major modification were carried out on the machinery. Vice versa, the variability before such a modification. And in many of our earliest tests, we had assumed that the population distribution was normal. It should be possible for us to test if the population distribution is really normal based on the evidence provided by a sample. Similarly, in another situation, it should be possible for us to test whether the population distribution is Poisson, exponential or any other non-distribution. And finally, the procedure to be discussed in this unit also allow us to test if two variables are independent when the data is only categorized. We may, for instance, like to test whether consumer performance for a brand and the income level are independent. In the variable example, the sex of respondent have been measured only grouping respondents in categorized. The chi-square distribution, a recapitulation, the chi-square distribution is known by its only parameter wise at the degree of freedom. The one figure is here, chi-square distribution with the different degree of freedom. It's you just go through it. Here is 1 degree of freedom, 5 degree and 10 degree is like that. And as shown in figure 1 above of x square is a random variable having a chi-square distribution with v degree of freedom, and then x square can assume only non-negative values. Also, the expectation and the variance of x square is known in terms of its degree of freedom as below. So here is the equation, you just go through it. And the testing of population variance. Many times we are interested in knowing if the variance of a population is different from or has changed from known value. And as we shall be seen below, such a test can be easily conducted if the population distribution is known to be or can be assumed to be normal. We shall develop and use the test procedures under different null and alternative hypotheses. One-tailed test is there. The specification for the surface hardness of a composition metal sheet required that the surface hardness be uniform to the extent that the standard deviation should not exceed 0.50. The small random sample of sheet is selected from each shipment and the shipment is rejected if the sample variance is found to be too large. Okay, and we assume that the surface hardness of this composite metal sheet is distributed normally. The test statistics that we shall use would ideally be the sample variance, but since the distribution of a square is not known directly, all these are equation based. And figure 2 is here, rejection region for one-tailed test of variance. Okay, so here is an acceptor region, rejection region is here, and this is a chi-square distribution with the 8 degree of freedom is here. Okay, so you just analyze this chart, it will more clear for you. Use your Ignou study material MMPC 005. and a two-tailed test of variance. We have earlier used both one-tailed and two-tailed test while discussing test concerning population means and proportion. Similarly, depending on the situation, one may have to use the two-tailed test while testing for population variance. And here is figure 3, acceptance and rejection region for a two-tailed test of variance. So you just analyze, and the equation also based on that here. Activity A is here and activity B also here. Try to do these activities, it will more clear for you this section. And next one is testing of equality of two population variance. In many situations, we might be interested in comparing the variance of the population to see whether one is larger than the other or they are equal. For example, while testing the difference of means of two population based on small independent sample in section 15.6 of the previous unit, we had assumed that both the population had the same variance. We may want to test if it is reasonable to assume that the two population variants are equal. So the F distribution is here, and the next figure is here, and F distribution with the V1, V2 and degree of freedom is here, and one tail test of two variants. A purchase manager want to test if the variance of price of unbranded bolt and higher than the variance of price of brand bolts. So he needs strong evidence before he could conclude that the variance of price of unbranded bolt was higher than the variance of price of the branded bolt. Okay, and this is the example, and equation also based on that. And here is one more figure and chart is here. Acceptance and rejection region for a one-tailed test of equality of variance is here. A two-tailed test of two variances. A two-tailed test of equality of two variances is similar to the one-tailed test discussed in the previous section, and the only difference is that the critical region would now be split into two parts and under both the tail of the F distribution. Okay, so that's the only difference. And the acceptance and rejection region of for a two-tailed test of equality of variance chart is here. So you just analyze this from your Ignou study material, and the distribution of S square divided by S1 square also here, and activity is here, and activity C, activity D are here for from this section. And testing the goodness of fit. Many times we are interested in knowing if it is reasonable to assume that the population distribution is normal, Poisson, uniform or any other non-distribution. Again, the conclusion is to be based on the evidence produced by a sample. Such a procedure is developed to test how close is the fit between the observed data and the distribution assumed. These tests are also based on the chi-square statistics, and we shall first provide a little background before such a test are taken up for detailed discussion. The chi-square statistics. Let us define a multinomial and experiment which can be readily seen as an extension of the binomial experiment introduced in a previous unit. The experiment consists of making an n trials. The trials are independent and the outcome of each trial falls into one of the k category. Okay, so here is equation also there based on the explanation, and example also here. So with only with the example we can explain this, and testing for uniform distribution. So time slowed, observed frequencies are here. These are the example, and based on that there is a computation of chi-square statistics also here. And the figure next is acceptance rejection region for 0.05 significant level test is here, and activity is here based on this. If any doubt, you can contact us on our number. Also you can comment it on our comment box. So this is for today's section. Next section of subsection of unit 12 we will discuss on another video. For more Ignou MBA videos, you just do like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you for your support.
i-tutor Academy presents Ignou MBA complete syllabus coverage classes for individual students, semester-wise subject with online and flexible timing. For more details, contact on +916 238 21785.